Welcome to our state-of-the-art Zoraxis escape pod. An explosion has disabled primary functions. This is an emergency. Please start engine manually. Secure. Wasn't that easy? The engine is engaged and we are starting our set. Just sit back and relax. System malfunction. Warning. Engine overheating. Structural integrity failing. Would you like to vent oxygen? Venting oxygen. Self-destruct in 90 seconds. Enter override code to abort. Code required. Five-digit code 9, 8. Self-destruct aborted. We hope your escape pod experience was a pleasant one. Please gather all your belongings, open the hatch above you, and signal your rescuers. Have a nice day.
Our communications are back on. Ah, there you are, Agent. We thought we'd lost you to the wilds of the Caribbean. We're approaching your position now. The coordinates you transmitted from the sub before you gave it the old TNT ta-ta point to a hunting lodge in the Alps. Well, don't ask me why submarine coordinates lead to the mountains. I couldn't even begin to want to understand it. The Alps are known for scenic vistas, prestigious skiing, and hidden hunting lodges. I'll give you one guess as to which one you'll be enjoying during your trip. If you guess the hidden hunting lodge, you win the grand prize, which is a trip to a hidden hunting lodge. We believe Zor's working on a secret machine. Infiltrate the lodge and find that machine. You've certainly made yourself comfortable in Zor's private hunting lodge. I hear the agency is handing out lodges. That fits well. You and Zor must have heads of similar size. That's a, fun fact. It's fine. I won't reprimand you for destroying a decanter of 16-year-old single malt scotch. It doesn't bother me.
Machine access restricted. Insert control cartridge. alarm triggered. Deer gas activated.
I've noticed you can't resist burning most things you find. To be honest, it's an unsettling quality.
Machine access machine access restricted. Insert control cartridge. Control cartridge accepted. Voice authentication required. Authentication failure. Deploying Bear Archer. Disarmed. Security malfunction. Insert datasphere override.
This doesn't bode well. It's just as we feared. Zor's new device appears to have the power to affect gravity. You must destroy that machine.
Crystal waveform not aligned. Crystal waveform not aligned. Crystal aligned. Crystal waveform not aligned. Crystal waveform not aligned. Crystal aligned. unstable. Machine malfunction. Laser defense mode 1.
Zor certainly knows you're there now. We're sending a helicopter to extract you. That machine must be destroyed before it arrives.
Crystal unstable. Laser defense mode 2.
Your helicopter's arrived, but it can't get close until you destroy that machine.
Crystal unstable.
Nicely done. There's nothing like an explosive finish to foil a villain's... All's well that ends well, as they say. You've escaped a pod in the Caribbean, blew up a lodge in the Alps, crash-landed a car in exotic Zanzibar, and broke a window on a building down the street. I must admit, I expected you to die at some point, but no hard feelings. There's always next time.
Another thing we wanted to keep in mind was close interactions versus far interactions. Sometimes far interactions can set up a grand scale of things, but really it's the close interactions that work the best in VR. Freezing things and being able to look all around them is really cool. Being up close and personal is more fun in VR. This is a commentary bubble. The button you just pressed toggles them on and off. They are now on in all of the puzzles, as well as this room. They contain interesting developer tidbits. For instance, the time frame with the art style we were going for was late 50s, early 60s. You know, the prime spy era. Of course, we needed to fudge the technology here and there. For instance, Zor's retina scanner was conceived of in 1935, but the first working one wasn't until the early 80s. But this button and this radio are period specific. Another thing we wanted to keep in mind was close interactions versus far interactions.
One of the problems we had to solve on I Expect You to Die was objects getting hidden behind other objects in a level. Players would constantly lose objects behind desks and chairs while solving the puzzle. Using physics raycast against every object in the scene to determine if the player can see it wasn't a viable solution due to performance concerns. Instead, we came up with an approximation called hidden volumes. A hidden volume is essentially a trigger volume that does two things when an object falls into it. First, it applies a special X-ray shader to the object so that it can be seen through other objects. And then, it puts the object on a separate physics layer, which allows the player to highlight and pick up objects through other objects.
I Expect You to Die currently supports many control schemes, and while that broadens the potential player base, it also comes with significant challenges. The tools behind our tutorial system are quite robust, so that we could create different slide orderings and focus on different aspects for each control scheme. Try the different controllers and you'll see what I mean. We went through many names for what we now call souvenirs. They were additional objectives, they were spy achievements, mementos. No matter what their name, they're fun to play with. Enjoy collecting them all. For texture memory and draw call reasons, there are only 4 unique book covers in the office, but you can be sure that all are standard issue for EOD agents. One thing that we kept in mind as we were designing puzzles was, can items be used for more than one purpose? For instance, the bottle is fun to play around with. You can pop the cork, release the champagne, have a little moment of celebration, but you can also break the bottle and use the shards of glass to cut the wires on the bomb. Is it the multi-tool or the unitasker? Whenever possible, we'd go for the multi-tool. You have to be careful when you're conducting playtests in VR to make sure that your guests aren't too immersed. We've had a half dozen or so people fall right out of their chairs, they're reaching for things. That's why we put a nice soft rug underneath our playtesting chair, to protect both the hardware and people's knees. The I Expect You to Die you are playing now is the end result of many, many iterations. This villainous librarian was the antagonist in one of those iterations. And speaking of iterations, we completed many of them with the help from our playtesters. Early in development, we'd have coworkers try prototypes, or even cardboard mock-ups of puzzles. Then we would bring naive players into our offices to playtest the game in white box form. That is, most of the art would be untextured, simple forms, mostly cubes. Then later we'd continue almost daily in-house testing, as well as sending the game out to third-party testing facilities. Among other more targeted questions, we'd always ask these 5. What was your favorite or best moment or interaction? What was your least favorite or most frustrating moment? Was there anything you wanted to do but the game didn't support? If you could wave a magic wand and add, remove, or change anything, what would it be? And when did you feel most clever? By tracking these answers, we could focus in on how to make our game as great as possible.